What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the One Fourth Careers Podcast. I'm Xavier, your host, and I'm here with Craig. Craig graduated from Alabama A&M University with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering with a concentration in manufacturing in 2020. Now, Craig is working as an Air Traffic Controller Trainee at the FAA Washington Air Route Traffic Center. Craig, my guy, how you doing, man? Appreciate you joining the pod, brother.
So man, appreciate you having me here. Looking
Yes,
forward to
sir.
today.
Yes, sir. Got the groomsmen in the building. The man was standing by me on my wedding day, so we lit for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Yo, well, obviously I know you very personally. So you being a mechanical engineer, now being a trainee for air traffic control, you're very curious. You always have been curious, very driven. I'm curious to know more about your background. What more can you share with the audience about your background of what you experienced and somehow some of that fueled you getting to where you are now?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess a little bit about my background. Went to, like you said, Alabama A&M University. Graduated with a BSME, mechanical engineering. Pretty much went to mechanical engineering because just all my high school life I've been pretty good at math and science. So I just figured, engineering makes sense for me. Finished there. I actually, right out of college, started working for a company called Raytheon, which is now called Raytheon Technologies, and did some lab management for them for about three and a half years. Uh, Pretty much got tired of that, wanted to do something different, and that's when I heard from actually from our alma mater through the career development program.
Okay.
They sent an email saying that the FAA was having a hiring bid for air traffic controllers. Well, me personally, I really didn't know much about air traffic control. The only thing I did know is that they're the guys like you go to the airport and they're sitting at the high tower looking at
Yeah.
airplanes come and go. And I was like, that seemed like that'd be cool. So I threw my hat in the ring. I went ahead and applied. Uh, Kind of an interesting hiring process. It took approximately it took just about a year, maybe a little bit over a year before I actually got hired.
Mm.
For a while, I thought like my application just went into the trash, the reject bin,
Yeah.
but yeah, I actually got called up probably about 6 months after applying
Okay.
and had to go through the various motions to get into the program and stuff like that. And well, long story short, now I'm here. I'm out here in Virginia, actually North Virginia, and where I currently work for my center. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history, but I can go into detail later.
What exactly do you do in your role? I think I also have that baseline knowledge of, oh, those are the guys who sit in those towers and they do something to keep our plane straight and, keep everyone safe for the most part. So, how would you go into detail a little bit about your roles, responsibilities, and how would you give a general description there?
For sure. So for people that don't know, air traffic control um, is basically it's part of the Department of Transportation. And then under that is the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration. The FAA's whole mission is basically to maintain the security and safety of air traffic. So like your Southwest and your American flights and stuff, and
Mhm.
not just them, but also independent pilots and stuff of that nature. So for an air traffic controller, what that means is a person that pretty much ensures the safety, um, efficient, and just secure movement of those aircrafts going through all of what they call the NAS, which I think is a National Airspace System, if I'm correct on that. But yeah, pretty much managing movement of aircraft to ensure safety and efficiency of air traffic. And we use radar, radio, and other tools to communicate with these aircrafts and pilots and other factions as well to get that job done.
Over my head. Nah, I like that. That's dope, man. So I feel like that's almost appreciate the service of the FAA, appreciate your service going into the program. I mean, I think a lot of us maybe take for granted how many hands, how many bodies go into keeping us safe in so many different facets and in our society. So that's really cool and appreciate you sharing that. Don't know much about all the tech and stuff, but I hope someone who's watching this is interested, whether just to learn about being an air traffic controller or whether it's a potential career opportunity. Hopefully, we'll share a lot more content to kind of jump into how you can make that happen. So, with that being said, it's a great transition into how did you actually get into your role? You touched on it, took 6 months, and your background's mechanical engineering. What was that process like?
So, pretty much like I explained a little bit in the beginning, I did lab management for Raytheon and pretty much just got bored of that. So I was actually looking for almost any type of job, just to start something
Yeah.
new, get out of what I was in. Um, and that's when I found, the application bid through the FAA, actually on USA Jobs .gov, applied there. Um, I'll go into the hiring process a little bit while I'm at it. So for the most part, so first of all, in order to be qualified to apply and be a air traffic controller, you have to be a U.S. citizen. Um, yeah, you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be younger than 31 years of age before actually getting hired. So technically, you could apply, say, at 30 years old, and let's just say it takes like about 8, 9, 10, 11 months for them to get to you. As long as like as you sign a paper saying that
Mhm.
you're hired by the agency or administration, you're good to go.
Okay.
Um, you have to have at least a high school diploma or GED, and you need to have, I believe it's 3 years of working experience, just anything, or 4 years of college experience, or a
Mm-hmm.
combination of the two together. Um, you also have to, of course, be able to speak English very fluently and be, easy to understand. And I want to say that's just about it. Um, but anyway, so let's say you apply, and then
Yeah.
you get the email or call back saying like, we want to, proceed with the hiring process. I believe the very next step was an aptitude test. I forgot the exact name of it, but
Mm-hmm.
basically, they schedule you for a date to go into a facility where they pretty much proctor these exams, and it's about 2 to 3 hours long. I want to say. Um, there's no real like study material or anything for it. It's like it's not trying to test you on your knowledge of how you move planes and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
It's really just like
Okay.
very like base. What can you do with what we give you right
Yeah.
now? Um, and now that I say that, there are actually, I want to say, there are what I want to say resources out there that people have created to kind of help people prepare a little bit for the test.
Okay.
Um, but I would say it's not really necessary as long as you go in there with a clear head and confident. You should be fine. So you take this aptitude test, which is going to be mostly consistent of being able to do quick math. Um, it starts off real slow, like what's 1 plus 1 and 3 plus 5, stuff like that. Then it goes into like uh, multiplication, and then you'll probably have like a little bit of like your easy algebra and stuff, like solve for y or x or whatever.
Okay.
Um, and then you have reading comprehension up in there, uh, deductive reasoning, and I believe like reaction speed, things of that nature. Um, It's almost like a little game actually. But
Yeah.
but yeah, once you get through the test or whatever, and assuming that you pass, then you get another email or call follow up, and they will set you up for a medical exam. You have to pass the medical exam. The main thing I think they're looking for is that you don't have any conflicting medical conditions
Yeah.
that would make doing the job difficult or impossible for you.
Hmm.
Of course, being blind and or deaf would probably be one of those things that would disqualify you. Um, so that's the medical exam, and then you also have the psych evaluation, and that's really just a series of questions. I want to say like 200 or around 200 questions that they ask you to basically try to make sure you're not some crazy person that we about to let into
Yeah.
these secure facilities and deal
Hmm.
with live traffic in people's lives. But yeah, so get through all of that. Um, let's see, and then pretty much like in case I might be skipping a few things that I'm forgetting about because it's been a little bit of a while, but
Right.
the final part really is once you get through all of that, you get hired on as a probational trainee, and
Hmm.
you get a date for your uh, what they call is like basics. So air traffic control basics. So you'll be set up. Currently, how it is virtual. You'll have a class, usually up to 18 people. You'll have a virtual instructor as well, and they will pretty much for about a month teach you about the very basics of air traffic control and just about the FAA. And
Yeah.
you'll go through that. It's a 70% uh, pass or fail, meaning that you have to have score at least 70% on the test in order to pass. Um, once you've gotten through that test, then you get your date for the academy. The academy is actually held in Oklahoma City. Um, you and your classmates will uh, transport there, and the FAA. This is completely paid for by the FAA, by the way. So you're getting your salary at the time as you're getting training.
Hmm.
Um, so you go to Oklahoma, you with your class, and for another, I would say 2.5 months, just about, you'll be taught more in depth about air traffic control, about aircraft, and just pretty much the ins and out of how to do the job. They will give you a lot of written tests to do,
Yeah.
um, a lot of learning material, and then of course you have like actual simulation problems that you'll run that they will grade you on as well. Um, again, it's 70% to pass, so you do your best there, and you make it through. As long as you get 70, point one or whatever, then you're
Yeah.
good to go. And now you're officially a uh, s- air traffic control trainee, which is what I am now. So then
I love it.
they give you a list of locations that you can go to based off of the needs of the agency.
Okay.
Um, it just so happened for me on my list that I had between Washington D.C. area or Atlanta area, and I chose to come here. So yeah, man, that was a mouthful. That's a lot, but
Man.
yeah, pretty
Hey,
much
you
that's
made it to the other side, bro. You made it. That's all I can say. You made it to the other side. It is good to know that when people's lives are in your hands, when our lives are in your hands, you definitely have some pretty thorough training. Cause I'm like, geez, like next thing you know, they had to do an army crawl, they had to do some burpees, they had to
yeah.
go do some judo or something. Based on everything you've said so far, it sounds like it's very feasible for individuals to pivot into this career path. And it doesn't matter necessarily the education background or even the levels. So as long as you have a GED or a high school diploma, right?
Um, the great thing about the job is that they don't need you to come with any experience. Yeah, there are like college programs and schools that you can go to that offer information and training on air traffic and aviation, and that could definitely give you a leg up as far as being qualified for the job. But they're looking everywhere for potential candidates.
Yeah.
What they call is like the people that are off the street, the people who basically get into it with no prior education or experience exposure at all. Like me, like I said, I didn't know much about air traffic control. I only knew about the people that are in the towers, and it goes deeper than that. So I'm actually at a air route facility, and those type of controllers are different from the ones that you see like at the airports that are in those tall towers. We're the ones that pretty much deal with aircraft going across long distances across the nation. Whereas like tower controllers are mostly concerned in working with aircraft that are say about 40, 50-ish miles away from the airport and making sure that they come in and land safely, as well as the ones that are going to take off from
Okay.
the same airport. Um, but as far as like pivoting here, I mean, really just the opportunity is always there. FAA is always hiring, looking for more potential trainees.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just keep yourself knowing when they're having their next hiring bid. I think right now for 2024 they're closed, so we might have to look into 2025 for the
Yeah.
next opportunity. But
Right.
pretty much, I mean, it's open to everybody. They get like hundreds of thousands of applications a year. So
Wow.
just have your resume, have all those qualifications, like I mentioned before, ready, um, and just apply. Like they don't care where you come from. They're gonna teach you how to do the job. So
Yeah. Turn out on the job training, the epitome of it. Can you share some of the skills and certifications that are needed to be successful in your role, or maybe that aren't required, but that you think would be really helpful?
yeah, for sure. To do air traffic control, I would say there's not a lot of skills that you need. The very core ones are kind of like the ones that you would hear from, just about any job. The
Okay.
main one being communication. Communication is vital in order to do air traffic control. In case I haven't explained it before, like no one person is doing this job alone. It takes a complete unit in order to get the job done. And just like everybody knows, a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Uh, Everybody has to pull their weight and do their part in order to make sure that these planes take off of the ground and also make it back down safely. And that starts at the airport. That starts, with uh, the airport, the pilots. We have these people that are in the traffic management unit that make sure that the flows of traffic are going well and that there's no conflicts there. You have weather advisory people who give the weather updates, let you know, hey, there's thunderstorms, 10 miles out, or tornadoes that could start to form in this area. You might need to redirect. Um, Hail, rain, fog, smoke, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, you have like the air traffic controllers who are talking directly with these pilots and um, throughout the whole process from takeoff to landing, telling them what to do in order to stay separated and just, have a safe trip.
Yep.
Um, and then, of course, in my opinion, like the unsung heroes, what we call them is tech ops, tech operatives. They are the ones who come up with these systems and how they work, and making sure that the power is on, making sure that we're able to do our job effectively, without
Mhm.
any hindrance. And making sure that those radars work so that we can see everything correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then of course you got your management, supervisors and stuff to organize the work and whatnot. But yeah, it's a big team game for sure.
Man, I love that. To your point, in any role, wherever you work at, it is about team for the most part. I think it's rare that people find those roles where it's only about individuals. Understanding the greater team you're a part of can be pretty motivating to have awareness. It helps with you connecting and networking within your larger team, your small or larger team. So I think that's really cool, kind of how you gave those flowers to the unsung heroes, as you mentioned. So I think that's really interesting to hear. So tell me this. If you could go back to undergrad, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you provide yourself to better prepare for the role that you're in now?
If I could go back to undergrad, you really don't even need a college degree in order to do this job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't get me wrong, I do think that me personally in my journey that I learned a lot of things in college that I might not have had I not gone through it. But as long as really you have focus, concentration, you have the willingness to learn, the ability to be taught, and really just perseverance as far as learning and doing the job, then anybody could do this job.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, sure, in some places it might take a certain type of person, but I believe that the vast majority of people could get this job done with the right training and people behind them. So
I love that. That's dope. I really appreciate that. So, being a trainee, I think that you probably have a good idea of what the career path looks like. I know you personally, so you probably wouldn't have entered into the role or went down that path without knowing what was going to be on the other end for you as a career. So, how would you describe the entry level role? How many levels are there? What does that career trajectory look like? Is there upward mobility, so on and so forth?
yeah, so as far as like the organizational layout of it, to be honest, even I'm still a little confused on it.
Yeah.
But where I come in at, so we can just put it like as a blanket. I'm an air traffic controller,
Hmm.
and then you have, say, your air traffic control specialists, the people who are completely certified, have done their time, and can say that they can effectively do their job without backup necessarily.
Yeah.
Um, then you have your supervisors, so the air traffic control supervisors who are pretty much like the, I guess you could say, managers of a certain area of people.
Okay. The OGs.
Uh, yeah, yeah, they've been there a while. They know how to do the job, and they can delegate work and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably skipping a good few folks between them and who I'm about to say next. But then you
Okay.
have your ATM. Your ATM is your air traffic manager. Air traffic manager is the person who's pretty much over the entire building. So, like at the ZDC or Washington Air Traffic Control Center that I'm at, we have an ATM, and yeah, she pretty much oversees the whole operation of things.
Yeah.
She's watching over the tech ops, and we have the traffic management unit here and the
Hmm.
weather advisory unit here, which is a whole different conversation. But
Okay.
and then of course the air traffic controller. So it can definitely go deep. And then of course we have a headquarters, we have a command center. Um, yeah, it's a lot of levels for sure. You can also be a trainer as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so
Okay. Cool. I
a lot of
appreciate that.
opportunities there.
Shout out to all the people you skip, man. Your guys' jobs are important too.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but
I've
definitely for people who are interested, for sure, definitely do your own research. Hopefully this is just one of many data points where you're able to get that information. So I really appreciate you for sharing that. Now I'm wondering, where do you see yourself in a year or two? Where are we going?
so. where I see myself in a year or two. So kind of like how I mentioned, I'm still a trainee right now.
Okay.
Once you actually get to a location, it usually takes about 2 to maybe 3 years to become fully certified. Once you
Mm,
go through, the numerous and long stages of
mhm.
training and certifications that you have to get. So hopefully, 2 to 5 years from now, for sure, I'll definitely be fully certified.
Okay.
And maybe even possibly training, the next generation of
Yep.
air traffic controllers to come through our center. So that's what I'm looking forward to right
Okay. Can't wait. Drinks on you.
now.
Nah, but that's dope, man. I can't wait to see it. I know it's gonna come to fruition unless you find an even better path. So as we're closing, man, I really want to hear from you, and I know the audience does too. What last remarks, advice, tips from your journey that you feel is really important for people to keep in mind?
Man, that's a deep question that I have not thought about much.
Okay. Yeah, nah, that's
um,
that's valid.
I would say the biggest advice that I could give just to anybody would be, really just follow your heart. Learn about the world and just navigate through it. And you may not have the answers right now, and that's completely fine. But everybody's on their own journey. Like I said, I thought that being an engineer would be the calling for me, and then, you know, 3 years into it, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do this no more. And
Cut
so,
it.
sometimes you just fall into the things that you might feel like you were meant to do or that you actually enjoy. And,
Yeah.
when you see those opportunities, you got to take it. So
Don't y'all just
that's,
hate when people be like, man, I really don't know how to answer that question. Gives a perfect answer. Like that guy, he's that guy.
look, man. And I just follow my heart, like I said.
Oh god, I swear. Nah, man. That's dope, brother. Cause definitely me too, man. We both started at A&M together, both mechanical engineers, and look at us now. I feel like we're happier from our transitions, finding our professional clarity and just not giving up, man. Not giving up on your happiness. If you're not happy, obviously try to continue to excel wherever you are. Always try to leave somewhere better than where you came. But don't be afraid to keep looking. Keep looking for your happiness. Keep looking for what you feel will provide you more professional satisfaction. I hope this episode provides you just one step closer towards you identifying what you don't want to do, what you do want to do, and just affirming you that no one really has this figured out. Like we meet people of all ages who are still trying to answer that question of what do I want to be when I grow up. So stay on that journey, stay humble, keep learning, be a sponge, man, and you too can become just like Craig out here killing it, man, doing some great stuff. So man, I appreciate you stopping by, my brother. You know, it's always love, and I really enjoy our conversations. But it's great to kind of get this full on rundown. I think a lot of it I heard before, but just kind of hearing the way that you answered a lot of these questions was super enlightening for me. Whole new respect for air traffic control specialists and the entire industry and career path as a whole. And since training and all that is so serious and takes so long, I'm excited for the future, as in whenever you finally transition from being a specialist. So I appreciate you stopping by, my brother.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. It was really nice to kind of share this information, and hopefully this inspires somebody else to take
Yeah.
that leap and you know try to follow on that path. So thank
Yes,
you again.
sir. Hey, my guy, I'm gonna hit you up later, bro. We'll be talking soon, and
All
I
right,
appreciate you.
all right, man. Love you.
All
Peace.
right, love you, my guy. Peace out, bro. All right, y'all. I really appreciate y'all stopping by for another episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciate y'all stopping by. This is who I do it for. This is super fun. An amazing episode from a very dear friend of mine doing some really interesting stuff. I remember when he told me he was pivoting, I was like, that's different, but I love it because I feel like it's more of a drastic pivot than I made myself, which I will tell more about in a future episode. So, really appreciate y'all. You can find us on wherever you get your podcast, but appreciate you guys watching it here. And as always, stay happy, stay blessed. Peace.